The irony is HRT and hormone blockers, or puberty blockers specifically, okay? That kind of stuff is done under medical supervision. This is not. You know what I mean? Unrealistic male body standards are deadly.
If you search Google for the perfect male, something interesting shows up. The same for men's health. This wasn't always the case. Now, let me close those tabs before I start getting strange looks again. But many are calling this phenomenon one of the biggest threats to the fitness industry. And this isn't coming from people that just want an excuse to be lazy.
Unhealthy relationship with food. I don't court a banana. I don't.
Nor is it coming from the give yourself a hug type people.
Yeah, they're there, Cookie Monster.
In fact, the people speaking out are heavily incentivized to shut up and smile. And most do. But the more you listen, the more you realize a harsh truth.
The video is Unrealistic Male Body Standards Are Deadly by Josh Brett, okay?
For an increasing number of men and boys, this otherwise benign desire to be more attractive transforms into something categorically disordered.
By the way, this is funny in a weird, fucked up way because, like, it's real, obviously, and girls have had this for the longest time. It's now men who are also getting involved and invested in the same kinds of, like, eating disorders and mental illness inducing habits.
This is a systemic problem, too taboo for television, but the human brain isn't built to recognize, often until it's too late.
No, there's no short, secret recipe for it, you know, you just have to...
Don't do this at home.
I don't ever want to be in that good a shape again.
It's not natural.
There's not many drug use or abuse issues where you get complimented so much.
They see it on the small screen on their phone, they see it on the big screen in Hollywood movies.
This is why so many fucking TikTok Zoomers are now taking steroids, you know? This is what it is.
It's in their hands when they're a fucking toddler.
So yeah, I decided to start training.
Don't compare yourself to these people because they're probably lying to you anyway.
You need to pull your head out your ass and understand.
It takes its toll.
It's not right, is it? I know it's not right, but I can't say for sure that this is going to stop.
So, how did body dysmorphia become so widespread and deadly? But more importantly, why are more people not speaking about this?
Hold on one second.
What is the perfect male physique? For me growing up, it was something like this. Health magazines suggest the same. Over time, this ideal has morphed towards something leaner and more muscular.
Trust me.
Hollywood films make this clear. Similarly, with reality TV shows, female dolls are criticized for becoming unrealistic, but male dolls are arguably even worse. 1960s G.I. Joe looks like he's about to unveil the iPhone. 30 years later, he looks more like a bodybuilder. Early Luke Skywalker besides modern Skywalker. Batman besides modern Batman. You get the point. If we ask AI to show us the ideal male physique, a similar image is painted. There's a clear ideal becoming more and more extreme. So, what are we seeing here? These are the men of the Woodabee tribe, showing their slender bodies, white teeth and eyes in a beauty pageant to win the attention of the female judges. This is what the peak male looks like in the Bodai tribe, where the men compete to be the fattest. Ancient Greek statues depict a lean, muscular body as desirable, while traditional Japanese culture associates masculinity with self-discipline, loyalty and honor. To identify the physical ideal, we need to understand what beauty is. The Oxford Dictionary defines it as the quality of being pleasing to the senses or to the mind. And looking across different cultures, the ideal seems to vary and change over time. Social media and the internet have erased cultural boundaries and created a highly competitive environment where only the most extreme stand out. This emphasis on leanness and muscularity isn't just a Western thing, it's gone global. We are witnessing the homogenization of the ideal male physique, what some refer to as hypermasculinity. Even society's ideal men seem to be getting stuff done to achieve this.
There's been a lot of talk about, red pill and self-improvement, creating your hyper-masculine character. Looking like you swallowed a shovel is
probably not the answer.
The psychology that somehow would have led to this guy thinking he needs a jaw implant or something.
Why do they always... Bro, the Giga Chad has had the worst impact on society. Dudes look so crazy, brother. Who the fuck wants this? I don't get it. I don't understand. It's not for women. I don't think it's for women. It's for other men. There's 0% chance. Women are like, I want to look like my man never skips jaw day. Okay, I want to look like if I'm ever trapped in a room, I want my man to be able to chew through the fucking door. Okay,
I can't.
This guy had an accident. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Zac Efron got a weird accident, and that's why he looks like he was jaw maxing. You're right. No, why does everybody fucking believe that? Why? It's like when a Hollywood fucking celebrity says, "Oh, of course I haven't taken any steroids." Duh. Like, shut the fuck up, chat. Shut up. You're out of your fucking mind, okay? I hate that. I hate it. Like, we've already done this. We already did the deep dive into the whole, like, was it really an accident? His jaw popped out like he's taking unimaginable amounts of fucking HGH years after the accident. Like, how did that work? It's so odd. Also, God, I see how the multi-billion-dollar PR machine operates because you can get people to just like believe anything. And many of these outlets, especially because no one cares, many of these outlets will just like cover it as though it's true, especially because it's like, it's not that significant of a problem. Like, who gives a shit if someone has fillers or if someone is doing HGH, right? In their minds, they're like, who fucking cares? Ironic, because like this entire video is literally talking about why it's actually fucked up that they do this. But the idea that like, you could just say it on NPR or BuzzFeed or New York Times and like everyone would just read it and go, oh yeah, they would never lie to me. Like, it's so odd.
Can't even fathom.
A self-improvement can absolutely go too far.
We aren't just talking Greek statue physiques. That was past long ago. From facial aesthetics to height and muscle definition, some of the methods men are using to achieve such ideals you might find disturbing. That smile you see is from a man who just had his bone shattered in a surgery to add 2 inches to his height.
Yeah, this shit's
a painful
crazy
procedure that more and more men are getting. Although Mukesh recorded the physical pain at a 9 out of 10, he stated it was less than the emotional pain he felt when people mocked him for his height.
We'll get rid of those love handles too.
Other men are getting abdominal implants, with some injecting oil into their muscles. Each year, over 2 million Americans have cosmetic surgery, a number that's rising.
That's the M HUD special right there. Synthol guy. That's one of Michael's guys right there. I forget his name. Ruki Bazuki.
With many trying to achieve an instant boost in muscularity.
Total spent on my body modifications is $950,000 US.
Now, people can do as they please, but for many, one cycle or surgery is never enough. Bigorexia is a dysmorphia people have where they never see themselves as muscular enough.
Already, I'm very curious as to why my waist is thicker than usual. Upper chest needs work. Why is my waist so thick? My arms just aren't big enough in comparison to my chest and my back.
Of course, this can lead them down a path of steroid abuse.
When I was 15, I did something crazy that changed my life forever.
And with the rise of steroid-like compounds readily available to buy on the internet, many teenagers are shutting down their hormones for a more muscular physique.
SARM goblins. That's what I was talking about. It's nuts. For the record, I don't have an issue with steroids. I've talked about it before, but like obviously consult a medical professional. Yeah, what is going on with this level of like steroid abuse happening is certainly terrifying.
Do I take any supplements as a 15-year-old bodybuilder? Yes, let me show you what to take.
I'm currently on 15 milligrams a day of RAG 140, so 25 milligrams a day of MK677.
You might argue these people are just morons. However, some of the methods used in Hollywood are also questionable.
I was eating so much chicken breast that the hardest part about it was actually chewing it all. So I would just put it into a blender, blend it all up, and just drink chicken.
In fact, to achieve his physique in Baywatch, Zac Efron was also taking powerful diuretics to dry himself out.
When I was done with that movie, I don't ever want to be in that good a shape again. Really.
I don't think it's surprising that many people struggle with disordered eating habits, like Freddie Flintoff, who developed bulimia.
I became known as a fat cricketer, really. That's when I started doing it. You put your fingers down your throat. As you gag, you bite into your hand so hard. The wrenching to get it out. It's not right, is it? I know it's not right, but...
Jesus Christ, bro. What the fuck?
I can't say for sure that this is going to stop.
I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for like 12 years. Basically, every 13-year-old who wants to be a pro is already on SARMs or tests. Yeah, a lot of what gets noticed or what gets lost in all the commotion about like young athletes dying suddenly or whatever is also the massive amount of steroid abuse that occurs, especially in like high school and at college level athletic. It's wild. Like people never talk about that or think about that at all.
If you can look past the airbrush marketing and Hollywood magic, eating and exercise disorders amongst celebrities are everywhere.
If I'm gonna get a girlfriend, I gotta have a six-pack. And so I thought that if I didn't eat anything, well, I wouldn't get any fat. And then if I worked out a ton, I would get big and muscular.
Meanwhile, some of the biggest influencers are using Photoshop, Videoshop, and other deceptive practices to stand out on social media.
Here in the Western culture, there has always been a tradition of muscularity, but in the last several decades, this emphasis on male muscularity seems to have accelerated.
No matter where you look, this can be seen, yet nobody wants to admit it. So where could this change be coming from, and what could be driving it? Over time, the Hollywood portrayal of the ideal man seems to be getting more and more muscular.
So when I got to Orange is the New Black for the first shirtless scene, I definitely did some unhealthy crash dieting. And being in TV long enough, I'll tell you this is something that almost all actors and actresses do for these shirtless scenes.
They often achieve their physiques through aggressive crash dieting at the expense of their physical health to meet Hollywood's demands.
It's a couple hours a day, and it was brutal. The tricky part was eating.
The same occurs in Bollywood.
So putting on the weight was fun. I could eat and drink whatever I wanted and have a great time. And I had a ball. I have to say I had a ball. But it was also most uncomfortable. Even my wrestling training was affected because I was carrying so much weight that I couldn't really move fast enough.
This was the silver era of bodybuilding. This is the gold era. And this is today, with many bodybuilders displaying bubble gut.
You're ripped, you're huge, you look fantastic. No stomach, no nothing, no problems.
Because people do not come to a show to see bellies. And if they want to do that, they go to maternity ward.
Yeah, except, bubble gut from HGH and steroid abuse is literally a belly. You have a belly. It's just a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle belly, but it's still a fucking belly.
Or something like that, and they can see plenty of stomachs there.
Columboism is a side effect of heavy steroid usage.
I'm not talking about my belly.
Probably don't need to tell you, a similar physical progression can be seen in reality TV.
Seriously? It's like you're photoshopped.
This is Jason Momoa, Aquaman. His physique, labelled as a dad bod. Same thing for an off-season bodybuilder, Chris Bumstead.
Can you rate this guy's physique for me, then?
Can't see him. Oh.
I'm gonna die. Okay, this video is literally giving me a fucking eating disorder. When I hear someone called what Jason Momoa has, which is like 11% body fat, maybe 12, when he's going into the fucking water, maximum 30. When I hear someone say that that's fucking dad bod, it just like zaps my brain in a way that I cannot really put to words.
Oh.
Part of me wants to put these warped ideals down to improving knowledge, resources, and just a natural result of increased competition. But the rise of cosmetic drugs, technology to manipulate videos, and the super competitive social media environment where people only post their highlight reels, it can be difficult to separate social media from reality. But others have argued there's a darker side. You see, some people profit immensely off these warped ideals. An invisible hand sounds very tinfoil hat. But to understand this perspective, we need to go deeper to the man who wrote the book on propaganda and shaped the world of marketing as we know it. 1920, women didn't smoke. It was extremely taboo, a masculine thing to do.
There's a taboo by men that does not permit women to smoke, either in public or even at home.
Of course, the tobacco industry wasn't happy missing out on 50% of potential customers. Everything they tried to do to appeal to the female demographic failed. They simply wouldn't buy based on rational reasons presented. The stigma was too much to overcome. Then along came the young marketer, Edward Bernays. He had a secret weapon. Knowledge passed down by his notable uncle, the father of psychoanalysis. Sigmund Freud believed that much of human decision-making was driven by unconscious and irrational impulses, often resulting in excess and overcompensation. Bernays decided to apply his uncle's theories to marketing. He didn't need to appeal to the individual woman and the rational benefits of smoking. He needed to completely reshape the cultural perception of smoking. So he hired a group of women at a big event, told them to all light up cigarettes, with photographers ready to take photos of them. These ladies weren't just lighting cigarettes, but torches of freedom, demonstrating their ability to assert their independence. He had staged a political protest to invoke the right emotions in the woman.
Next morning, there wasn't a newspaper in the United States, even the New York Times had a front-page story, "Debutantes light torches of freedom to protest man's inhumanity to women by a taboo against smoking."
It worked. Bernays would go on to use trick after trick after trick in the marketing and political
Virginia Slims, baby.
world. He wrote the book on propaganda and set the path of much of the advertising you see today, with companies hiring psychoanalysts to capitalize on this new approach to marketing, a shift from need to desire in a post-war America.
Modern man quite often tries to work off his frustrations by spending on self-gratification. Modern man is eternally ready to fill out his self-image by purchasing products which complement it.
And what better way to improve one's self-image than through your own body? Vogue magazine invented cellulite, a perfectly normal thing, turned into a condition. Marketers went hard, tapping into the insecurities of women, driving the massive growth of the beauty industry. Buy this to be good enough was an extremely powerful message.
This absolutely is the dark side of the fitness industry, trend dieting, and also all the supplements and products that they farm and sell you, some of which I consume on a daily basis, like all the protein stuff that I eat, even though this is not a hashtag ad. Holy fuck. Kodiak protein waffles, 190 calories for 2 waffles are decadent. Put some goddamn Halo Top style ice cream on that bad boy and woo, it's good. It's a good way to add additional protein to your diet, which is important for having a decent, well-balanced macronutrient breakdown.
Wrong to give people what they want by taking away their defenses.
But much like with cigarettes,
I cook them in the toaster, yeah.
marketers realize they're missing 50% of their potential customers. Only this time, it was the men. Much like with the creative marketing of lung cancer sticks, this is...
Yeah, being a fat teenager, like I joke about, well, I don't joke about having body dysmorphia, I have it, but it came from somewhere. It was fucking awful when I was fat, obese, and just like every kind of image that you saw in every fucking marketing campaign was just like a shredded dude. I would look at like the cover of Men's Health magazine with so much like envy and anger, jealousy, seething, you know what I mean? So that's part of the reason why I always get the other side's argument as far as like fat shaming, as far as all the other, you know, fat acceptance movement arguments. It's like, you know, you're fat. It just doesn't help at all in achieving any kind of desired goals you might have. It works in the opposite direction. Has it changed? Do you consider yourself in good shape now? No, of course. I don't consider myself in excellent shape. There's a goal that I have for what I want to look like without my shirt on. But as far as good shape, yeah, 245 to swinging around, 245 to 250. And I can play basketball, full court, high intensity cardio activities for hours under the fucking sun. I'm in great shape from a cardio perspective. I'm in great shape from having muscle mass. I'm in remarkable shape overall for my age. It's just that aesthetic wise, I'm not at the point that I
is not always in your best interest. And after many iterations, these standards, what people want, has become more and more unrealistic. Advertising lives or dies by its commercial success, and insecurity sells. The human brain has evolved over millions of years and isn't built to deal with the rapid rise of the internet. Whether intentional or not, the display of unrealistic and deceptive ideals in the media exploits our cognitive biases, often to the detriment of both mental and physical health. It's why some of the most mainstream fitness advice is the least effective.
I don't know who still needs to hear this, but you do not target fat around your stomach with specific exercises. 8 million views.
Oh, let's ask the average person what they think. Let's stop asking the average person what they... Do you know how f***ing stupid the average person is?
This is known as the Dunning-Kruger effect, where people with low experience in an area tend to overestimate their ability or knowledge. Regardless of how smart you are, if you're part of the human species, you're susceptible to your cognitive biases being exploited.
Is he smart? No, he's a freaking good-looking dude, okay? And he's making extremely large amounts of money by saying stupid things that don't make any sense, but you look at him and you're like, holy crap, he looks amazing. I'm gonna do what he's doing.
This is the halo effect, where people who are considered attractive tend to be rated higher on other positive traits as well.
If you were to look at this podcast here,
I love seeing like the halo effect and Dunning-Kruger spelled out on like a very serious YouTube video about body. I know there's some validity to these concepts, but I feel like I've used it so much that it's like, it's not surreal to me. You know what I mean? This video is so pretentious. I mean, I like it because it's real. It's a real problem.
Is this some cheap shit, Joe?
No, that's the shit, bro. See that curtain down the back?
Fats and meats and never eating carbs.
But the way that he's tried to mimic the guest position on Joe Rogan, you fucking piece of shit.
Social proof is another, where simply a large following can make a person more trustworthy. By presenting a certain body type or standard as the norm, marketers create a reference point that influences our perceptions of what is desirable, the anchoring effect. This, and an array of other blind spots, is what the media taps into. Often those people on social media, in magazines and on the big screen, are just cogs in the machine. At the start, this was more blatant and easier to identify. Today, it's all around us, often with no escape. Don't get me wrong, I'm down for super effective marketing that helps people live healthier lives. But no other industry has such a high failure rate while being so profitable. I can't help but think back to the many people getting life-altering surgeries, developing eating disorders, and a lot of the negative side effects we haven't even discussed yet. Meanwhile, obesity and suicide rates are on the rise in America, and a recent poll found that 1 in 8 UK adults have suicidal thoughts related to body image. There's a very clear disconnect. In fact, a Harvard psychiatrist warned about this over 20 years ago. I don't think even he realized just how serious and widespread this would become. The many problems men have with their warped physical self-perception was grouped under an umbrella by Dr. Hasan Pope, the Adonis complex. Adonis was half man, half god, according to Greek mythology. Visual perfection, the god of beauty and attraction. Dr. Pope has documented cases of men quitting prestigious jobs, people smashing their own faces with a hammer to qualify for plastic surgery, and others
Motherfucker went to looks-maxing forums, dude. That's what they do in looks-maxing forums, chat.
dying from disordered diet and exercise regimens. Although these are extreme examples, this was over 20 years ago, and we've seen many more cases since. Pope suspects
You would know.
unrealistic.
Yes, I am an expert in internet brain rot. So yes, I would know. Unless you were trying to say that I do fucking, I browse like Sui Fuel, blogosphere content creators and like apply them or something. In which case, thank you for thinking that I'm doing anything out of the ordinary to my body, implying that you think I would like some level of aesthetic success, but I'm not.
Standards driven by the media is what's fueled the rise of the Adonis complex.
Yes, I've done steroids.
But here's the catch. When beauty is so subjective, the ideals so extreme, the effects are fatal. Today's children are growing up with the internet as a constant presence in their lives, with little knowledge of a world without it. And the harmful effects of unrealistic body standards are evident through the growing list of casualties. I'm a 14-year-old and I'm thinking about taking 50 milligrams of Deca per week for 4 weeks. I know about the side effects on adults, but not in teens. Is there any side effects I should know? I'm a 16-year-old boy, currently undergoing cosmetic limb lengthening surgery. I don't think I know what's best for me yet, but I absolutely cannot see myself regretting this decision. Sometimes unorthodox and drastic solutions are the best ones. I'm 15 years old and recently found out about SARMs. My goal is to gain more muscle and get leaner. I'm 5'11" and 145 pounds currently. My main concern is whether or not I should take Ligandro.
You want to know what's really fucked up about this? This kind of stuff goes unnoticed and it's like easily accessible in comparison to HRT or hormone blockers and stuff like that. And the irony is HRT and hormone blockers, or puberty blockers specifically, okay? That kind of stuff is done under medical supervision. This is not. There's a tremendous amount of data that shows that it's actually valid and very helpful to avoid suicide. Meanwhile, these guys are just doing it. They're raw dogging it without any kind of safety measures whatsoever. Like, oral steroids is one of the greatest examples of this, okay? It is so bad for you. Worse than fucking steroids that you inject, okay? Straight up. And people do it. People do it nonstop, and they're getting organ damage. It's not even just like shaving 10 years off of your life like all the other steroids oftentimes do. This is literally giving you organ damage. Okay? Lifelong issue. It's really fucked up.
Role, considering my age. These are just a few people on public forums about to make life-altering decisions, with many going through with it.
So yeah, I decided to start trying.
Whoa, dude. What did you just say?
We're witnessing extremely young kids take puberty-altering performance-enhancing drugs, with parents suspected to be giving it to their children as young as 6 for a chance to make it in Hollywood.
There's not many drug use or abuse issues where you get complimented so much.
And even people trying to do things more naturally are suffering.
I know I look like complete rubbish, right? When you train every single day for like 2 hours, do a load of steps, get like 4 hours sleep, you have no team to support you, and everything is being done just by you, it takes its toll.
In life, there is this feeling that we all live with inadequacy. There is this call to achieve and to go beyond all expectations, to outperform other people, to measure oneself against a panoply of influencers and gurus, to work ridiculously long hours.
Scott was one of the more wholesome fitness YouTubers, doing much of the things we see Hollywood boast about. Yet, it seems to have contributed to his early death.
But I've set it up, you're gonna think I'm gonna blow up. Oh shit.
I remember seeing a 19-year-old die of a heart attack in the local paper. 4 different steroids were found in his system, with a suspected enlarged heart a contributing factor.
He was 7 feet tall. Surprised. Normally I agree on this, but kids should be able to take these types of supplements so we can get more data on it. This can show us the effects of them when they're older and see the top of the hour ad break. Bro, you need a vaccine, okay? And I'm not talking about the top of the hour ad vaccine, which is fucking a $5 a month subscription or a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime. You need to be vaccinated, okay? We need to know how to best help them avoid it and not have to deal with it. This kid did HGH too, which is how he might have gotten so tall. Brother, don't say stuff like this. You're giving people ideas. Like, they're going to start taking HGH during puberty so they can be 7 foot. I don't think it works that way. Anyway, Mesu Zib, thank you for the 5 tier 1 gift the subs. There's a 3-minute break now. People already give their kids HGH with pediatric endocrinologists to make them taller. Yeah. There is no amount of HGH that you can fucking get at the age of 14 that will arrive, that will help you before you even hit 18, that will get you to 7 foot. That's a disease. What is it? Like, is it gigantism? No, it's not gigantism. Marfan's disease. There's a very specific type of disease that it gets you that tall. Acromegaly.
Similarly to bodybuilder Dallas McCarver, who collapsed on stage, recovered, and sadly passed away with a heart almost 3 times the size it should have been.
A lot of people are speculating how much testosterone was this guy actually injecting to get a 55,000 nanogram per deciliter total T.
There's tributes on YouTube for all of the bodybuilders who pass away. Each year...
Wait, I don't think your heart grows from steroids. Your heart grows from HGH, no? Steroids will create cardiovascular irregularities, but HGH specifically, specifically will grow everything, including your heart. Hasan, there are a few Marfanoid disorders. The biggest giants known generally had pituitary gland disorders.
The age is getting lower.
Someone is literally going to have to die on stage before something changes in bodybuilding.
Maybe these are extreme cases, but if you actually listen to what the very celebrities many look up to are saying, a very different side gets presented.
It's hard to look like, even if you do work out, to be that kind of in shape is not natural.
The way they achieve their rapid transformations is often highly unsustainable.
For guys, that's unrealistic, I'm telling you.
Zac Efron actually went through a phase of depression and insomnia after his brutal drug-assisted Crash Baywatch regimen. Channing Tatum, Luke Jackson, Ed Sheeran, Tyson Fury developed eating disorders and are warned about their unsustainable practices.
I started noticing it for the first time when I just started rebelling against a gym.
And these people have the top coaches and doctors at their side.
Truly, I don't know how people that work a 9 to 5 actually stay in shape because it's my full-time job and I can barely do it.
When studies are suggesting the majority of men are now displaying signs of body dysmorphic disorder, it's an issue that's hard to ignore. But because of a stigma, speaking about this, seeking help, or even thinking about it is seen as weak, with many willing to end their lives or pin themselves because help isn't as macho. And even those who look the best aren't immune to this, because everything is subjective.
I look like a normal, reasonable human being with like an acceptable amount of like muscle tone, right? But still in my head, there was like this crazy just distortion, body dysmorphia.
This doesn't mean you shouldn't find people in great shape motivating.
God damn, bro. Fucking, my man dysmorphed his hairline a little bit, which feels kind of sad to say, but that was wild.
Just that even your favorite idols get older and struggle with these things. Yeah,
That's such a fucking... That is the stupidest headline I've ever seen, dude. When I look in the mirror, I throw up. Oh, God.
It doesn't get much coverage because it's not as glamorous. Resistance training and having high goals isn't inherently pathological. I have respect for anyone who achieves an impressive body transformation, especially if done honestly. However, unrealistic body standards can have deadly consequences.
Even Arnold has dysmorphia. Gym work is pointless. No, he has dysmorphia. He's always had dysmorphia. I've talked about this a lot. Anyone that fucking works out at the gym and gets to a certain point in their fitness journey will develop body dysmorphia, okay? It's impossible not to, but Arnold throws up when he looks at himself because he's no longer the Mr. Olympia physique that he once was, which is an insane thing to think because you're like 80 years old, man. Calm down. Like, what the fuck?
Regardless of where you think this stems from. Many point to Hollywood actors, supplement companies, dolls and clothing companies. I get why some people want to see the fitness industry
I've been there. I went there.
Companies,
Gymshark
dolls
HQ.
and clothing companies.
Kind of sick.
I get why some people want to see the fitness industry burn to the ground. But pitchforking individuals and stealing kids' Power Rangers probably isn't the answer.
It's just a doll. It's just a stupid little plastic doll.
Nor is polarizing people with men or women have it worse arguments. There is no them and us. The market decides what sticks, so mass awareness is a big part of the solution. You vote with your money and attention. This isn't necessarily better than this, nor is this than this, and definitely not this or this. It's up to you to discover what you really want, and not have others decide this for you. Dr. Pope suggests the following as potential outlets if you get caught up. Personally, I still go to the gym. While I'll never look crazy, it's been very satisfying to get closer to a goal that I had as a kid. Especially considering I don't think it's an unhealthy obsession anymore. Ironically, with progress being the best, once I chilled out and focused on other things. I realized the hard way that looking good means nothing if you don't feel good. If you ever try to get in shape, please understand this. It's all I'm trying to get across to the video. I don't often ask, but sharing this video wherever you can would really help a lot. Self-improvement is supposed to enhance yourself as a person, not replace yourself. So,
is this guy you and Alex? I mean, it was, it's a decent video.
If you search Google,
like, I don't know. He's a free eating out video guy? What the fuck? I mean, I don't think unrealistic body standards being pumped into every facet of existence is the same as like doing impressive feats in the field of athletic competition. You know what I mean? I didn't. No, eating out in restaurants, you fucking weirdos. Not like eating pussy. He has an eating out guide, which is interesting because like it's something that I struggle with a lot when I'm with my diet. It's very difficult for me to regulate my intake when I'm going out to eat with friends, and it's actually a sign of, or I guess, orthorexia when you are avoiding social settings where you would be forced to eat. And it's like impacting your life. So I just kind of take the L on it. When I was at my most regimented, I would avoid it. I quite literally would not go out to eat food. I would only eat the same food every single day, and I wouldn't do it. Now I'm obviously too old for that shit now. So it was different. But having said that, I recognize that it's not good.